everybody. I remembered to hit the unmute button this time. If you can't hear me, let me know. But welcome to the June Power Hour. Hope everybody's doing great. I've been excited for this. It's been really cool. Oh, I got to turn this overlay off here. So it's been really cool. So I hope everyone's doing great. I saw that some of you are working on some new projects today. So don't forget to let me know what you're working on and what you're drinking. I am drinking water today. I didn't have time to make tea. I was out doing some yard work and almost ran out of time. So it's all good. So let's see how everybody's doing here. All right, Travis, hello, sir. Taking a break from Second Manuscript, and we'll be starting a short story today. Very, very nice. All right, let's see. What is everybody else working on? Okay, Priscilla working on a Gothic short story. All right, cool. I'm working on the 5th volume of Indie Author Confidential, Volume 5. That's what I'm working on today. I feel like it's taken me forever to get this book out. I'm editing a sci-fi short story and looking over some other story ideas. Very, very cool. And let's see. Okay, Megan, I'm working on editing and revision for my Cold Justice debut author manuscript. Congratulations. Debut author. It's very cool. And drinking coffee. All right, Louisa, hello. Nice to be back. I had a full morning of brainstorming and ready to start writing. Awesome. All right, and Celinda LaBruce is drinking water and working on edits. All right, Are You Serious? I love that name. I'm not serious. I'm not serious. Editing my dark fantasy. Deborah Bryant working on a novel about an overprotective brother of his sister. That's interesting. That's interesting. And Brianna Goodrum working on a film noir story. Hey, new here. Hey, welcome. First Power Hour. Very happy to have you here. And since we have at least one new person, I'll explain kind of what we're doing, because it seems like inevitably people come on at like 30 minutes in and they see me staring at a screen and typing, and they're like, "What is going on?" All right. Oh wow, everyone's working on some good stuff here. Oh yeah. All right. Cool. So. All right. Well, I can't get to everybody, but really, really good stuff. So I'm excited, and I wanted to make a couple comments on some things that I wanted to make sure that I hit. So first things first, you guys may have noticed that I am. Take this comment off here. You guys may have noticed that I am. I'm doing less, or I haven't done videos lately. In fact, the last video I did was. This Power Hour. And everything is okay. I've had some people reach out and ask, what's going on, Michael? Everything is good. There's nothing wrong. There's two reasons for it. The first thing is I just finished law school. So I have a lot of time back, and I'm actually enjoying not having to study books. And the second thing is I took a new job. So it's been kind of an intense job. And for the next couple weeks or so, things are going to be a little crazy, but I do anticipate kind of getting back to a normal schedule. So I still owe you guys some Scribner videos. There's been some video requests that are coming. So just know that those are on the way. There's nothing wrong. I'm not taking a hiatus or anything. But yeah, so I just wanted to get that out there because I know people have been thinking about that. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was it is June, and in many parts of the world right now, it is very nice outside. At least here in the United States, it is very nice outside, and there's not a whole lot of rain. The weather is pretty seasonable before we start getting into the hard part of summer. And we're moving into what Dean Wesley Smith calls the time of great forgetting. This is when people stop writing their manuscripts because it's so nice outside. Because you're out at the beach or taking vacations. And then all of a sudden you wake up and it's October and you got nothing to show for it over the past summer. So I don't think any of you have that problem, but just be thinking about that, because there's a lot of people out there right now that are not writing very much. So I haven't been doing YouTube videos as much, but I've still been writing pretty regularly. So just public service announcement. If you find yourself drifting off from the writing, that's okay, but just be aware of that time of great forgetting, because I think it hits people harder than they realize. So, all right. Travis, I must say, looking forward to the first Saturday of each month. Some of your names are becoming familiar. It's nice. Yep, I agree. All right, DCJ, we got another newcomer here. Welcome aboard from Atlanta. So, all right, first film script. Cool. So, question from Travis: is your law degree applicable to your new position? Yes, it is. But I I told you guys I'm not going to be an attorney, so I'm not even qualified to be an attorney. I just have a law degree. It's a specialized law degree. But yeah, it definitely did help me land this new job, and I'm excited about that. But yeah, and a lot of classes I took in the law degree was applicable to writing too. So okay, so before we jump into the timer, I do want to explain kind of what we're going to do for newcomers. So if you're new here, welcome aboard. I'm so glad to have you here. These are Writing Power Hours. So the first Saturday of every month, I do these broadcasts. It's about 90 minutes. And what we do is we write as a community. So you bring your own manuscript, and I'll set a timer for 20 minutes. And then during that 20 minutes, we're all going to write. We're going to write toward our manuscript and just kind of have some fun. And then after the 20 minutes, I'll put on a 5-minute timer for a break, and we'll just kind of chat, shoot the breeze, and I'll answer any publishing or writing questions that you all have. And then I'll get another timer on for 20 minutes. We'll take our second dive into it, and then we'll have another break, and then we'll do our last one. And during the breaks, I always like to know how many words you wrote and how you're feeling, because I think those are two really good important things to kind of give you a sense of how your manuscript is going. So when I turn on the timer for 20 minutes, I stare at the screen. I still need to maybe figure out what to do with the screen during that 20 minutes. So if people come on and say, what is this guy doing? Just help me out and just let them know, hey, it's Power Hour. All right. So I see some questions here. We'll get to those. But I think it's time to get to our first session, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and put the timer on here. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. And it is 10:06. So let's come back at 10:26. And good luck, everybody. Let's get some writing in. All right, everybody, we have just under 3 minutes left. Just under 3 minutes left, and we'll come back. All right, everybody. First session's over. I want to know how you did. Let me know in the comments. How many words did you write in our 20-minute session? And how are you feeling about it? You feeling good? You feeling, I don't know about these words? Or, maybe these words need to go in the trash? Let me know. And while you're doing that, I'm going to take a look at some of the comments and questions that came in while we were doing this here. Hunter says, move this up a little bit, which no real easy, good way to do that. So maybe I'll just turn this off here. All right, Hunter said, thank you, Michael, for doing Scrivener 3 videos for Windows. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and finally got it. Yeah, I'm super excited about Scrivener 3 for Windows. It's not perfect, but it at least exists. So now I think we just need to start putting pressure and influencing Literature and Latte to do Scrivener for Android, because to me that's the final piece, because okay, Scrivener for Windows is pretty good now, but all those Android users, there's way more Android users in the world than there are iPhone users. And so I think Scrivener for Android would just set it off. Scrivener for Linux would be cool too, because I don't want to forget my Linux friends. But Scrivener for Android, I think, is where it's at. So, okay, we got another question. How are you calculating your word counts per session? I'm just using Simple Addition. I'm writing in Ulysses today, so I'm just adding up the chapters that I write. So Alkesh, I think, responded and said that I do the same. I put in a different color when I start a new session, and then highlight the words at the end. So, yeah, that's another cool way to do it. All right, let's see. Oh, we got a comment from John Graham. finished my first novel. It's 83K words. It's with beta readers now, and I'm looking for an editor. It wouldn't have happened without your videos and books. Thank you, lad. Much appreciated. Well, hey, you did the work. I'm grateful to have played some small part in that. So congratulations on your first novel. That is fantastic, and good luck with the editor. So that's good stuff, man. I'm really happy for you. So all right, let's see. Travis made a suggestion. What if you have a text explaining that it is an individual writing time on the screen? Okay, interesting suggestion. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that away. All right, let's see here. Oh, okay. Jocelyn, hello, Jocelyn. Welcome. Anyone here using Pro Writing Aid? Let Jocelyn know. I love Pro Writing Aid. I think it's fantastic. I think that it catches things that Grammarly does not. That said, I do think that a balanced writing diet, balanced editing diet, actually should include Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly. But nobody asked about Grammarly. I'm just putting that in. Just putting that in here. I do like Pro Writing Aid. I think that their user interface has improved over the last few years. When I first did my first review of it in 2018, it had some work. There was some work to be done, I think, and I think they've come a long way, and it's a lot easier to use, and it works really well with Microsoft Word. I haven't tried it with Scrivener. I know people have asked me about that, but yeah, I two thumbs up for Pro Writing Aid. They're fantastic, and their team is great too. So all right, so Linda asks, what does the law degree provide? It is a law degree in risk management and compliance, which is just a fancy way to say it's an insurance law degree. Really just trains me to be able to identify laws, learn how a company can comply with those laws, and I'm just going to stop there because I don't want you guys to fall asleep. All right, let's take a look at some word counts. I went a little bit long there, but let's take a look. All right. All right, Centratic, 800 words. Very, very cool. Deborah Bryant, 764 words. Travis, 351. Okay, everyone's feeling good. Christina, Big Fat Zero, that's okay. Just pick yourself up and keep going. Let's see. All right, got chapter 8 break set. All right, 163 words. Everybody's doing good. Everybody's doing good. I hit 550. So everyone is doing fantastic. So, you know, you multiplied that by 3, hopefully, and that can be your potential word count for the day. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So Virgil says you can install Scrivener on Linux and Chromebook using Wine very easily, and it runs great. I've heard that. I have not tried it. Okay, so I did get one more question. I'll answer that from Brianna. Have you thought of placing a banner near the timer that says "Let's write"? Okay, I'll think about that. Think about that. Okay, so it is time to go back into the dungeon, folks. So I am going to put the new timer on, and it is 10:32 a.m. So let's come back at 10:52. Let's get it. everybody. We've got about 3 minutes left, and then we'll be back for our next break. 3 minutes left. All right. How is everybody doing? Let me know what your word count is. So while we do that, I'm going to address the questions that came in over the over the session here. Louisa says we need Scrivener for Android urgently. I need something to write on my phone productively. Amen. I'm not an Android user, so when I say this, I don't know if there's another app out there that works really well for Android that allows you to write on the go. Oh, I need to turn the. I don't know that. Maybe there is, and if there is, I would encourage you guys to let me know. I just have not heard anybody raving about an app on Android that they can write novels on. I just haven't heard it yet. So maybe it exists. All right, Jig East. What do you use to dictate words? So I use Dragon for Windows. Don't use Dragon for Mac. Don't do it. It's a disaster. It's discontinued, and it never really worked that well to begin with. So I use Dragon. I've got a Audio Technica microphone. I'm sorry for the audio, but I've got this connected to my desk, and then I use that to dictate. And then I also dictate on my phone. So I use Dragon Anywhere to dictate on my phone, and that is a subscription that costs about $150 a year. It is a little pricey, but I find that it's worth it because I can dictate my novels while I'm doing dishes, for example. And then Dragon for Windows costs about $500. So it's not cheap, not cheap at all. But you do get a huge benefit with word counts. And if you buy the regular Dragon, you only have to pay for one. If you're a Mac user, Dragon Anywhere is probably what you want to do. Or if you can run Windows on your Mac, then you can install Dragon for Windows on your Mac. using Parallels, for example. But that's not easy if you have the new M1 Max, because Parallels is not yet supported. Just got to throw that out there. Oh yeah, Virgil. Yep, everyone uses the Dragon line of software, but honestly, the iPhone dictation suite is pretty impressive. It is. The only downside with the iPhone dictation suite is that, as far as I know, it only allows you to have the microphone on for 60 seconds or something like that. So that's kind of a wah-wah moment for that. Christopher asks, is it really possible to write a novel in Ulysses? Here's the thing. I don't write novels in Ulysses. I'm writing a writing book right now. So I actually think that Ulysses is better for nonfiction books. And the reason I think it's better is because it's got a universal library. And I just like that, because when I write my writing books, I find that I tend to refer to other books a lot, or I might take passages from those. And it's just more logically laid out in Ulysses. I also write my blog in Ulysses, and I share that. I can share it directly to my blog from Ulysses. So I wouldn't write a novel in Ulysses, to be honest with you. If you're going to write a novel, I'd use Scrivener, or I'd use a Scrivener competitor. That's not Ulysses. Ulysses just doesn't. I won't go into it. There's just some things with Ulysses that I would not want to write a novel in. Maybe that'll change in the future. I hope they're listening because they are improving the app. I mean, I love Ulysses, but I wouldn't write it I wouldn't use it for novels. Let's see. Okay. Got some words coming in, everybody. Fantastic. Brianna, 384. Mike Bates, 315. Deborah, 553. Priscilla, 509. Oh, DCJ, I'm sorry to hear that. Got none because my computer started freaking out. Well, hopefully, give your computer give it a massage or something. Make it calm down. A Lion in the Winter. What other software besides Scrivener do you suggest? There's a lot of good ones out there. It depends on what you're looking for, honestly. If you're looking for an app, I'm trying to think, Ulysses, but like I said, I wouldn't do it for novels. There's also browser-based solutions. So Dabble is one that I know a lot of people really like. And there's some attractive things about Dabble that I like. For example, it is subscription-based, but you can buy your way out of it for like $400, and it's a one-time fee. I love that. I wish more writing apps would do that, because I know you guys don't like subscriptions. Dabble is one to look at. Also, guys, don't sleep on Atticus. Atticus is a new app by Dave Chesson that aims to be, it's kind of starting off as like a Vellum competitor, where you can use it in the browser, so you can format your books in the browser, but they're also aiming to be a writing app as well. And I think that what they're doing, I think, is going to be disruptive if they can get it right. And knowing what I know about Dave Chesson, they're going to get it right. So Atticus.pub. I'm not sure if it's available yet for the public, but check it out. It's very, very cool. I think that's the one to watch in the space. Yeah, those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, there's lots of choices. That's the beautiful thing about writing apps. All right. Let's see. Oh, wow. Questions are coming in. And okay, we'll go a little bit longer here, because I want to make sure I get to all the questions. Okay, Brianna, why would you want to dictate words for your novel? A couple of reasons. First is you can speak faster than you can type. The average person types about 100 words per minute. I think 50 words per minute, I think, is the average. The average person speaks about 160 words per minute. So if you can learn to dictate, then the theory is that you'll speak your way to higher word counts. It's not 100% perfect, but I can tell you that when I dictate, my writing sessions are usually double what they are when I type. So that's one reason. Another reason is if you have repetitive stress injuries like carpal tunnels or rotator cuff surgery, and it makes it very difficult for you to sit down at a computer for a very long period of time, dictation can help you with that as well. And also you can dictate on the go. So that's another thing that's really cool. Oh, okay. Travis says, I laughed out loud reading your gas station sushi story. How much of your real life experiences come into play when you're writing your fiction? Okay, so last week I made a courageous decision. I was on the way home from a doctor's appointment. I was supposed to be back at work at I was supposed to be logged back in at 1 o'clock. It was 12:30, and I needed to get something to eat because my fridge was empty. So I was like, okay, well, let me stop at a restaurant and get something. It's like I don't want to do McDonald's because you guys know I probably shouldn't be eating McDonald's. But I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to go to McDonald's. I'm going to make a healthy decision here. So I didn't go to McDonald's. I didn't go to Taco Bell because those were the two things on their way. I was like, okay, I'm going to stop at this gas station because they got sushi. So I got some sushi, and lo and behold, the sushi was disgusting. I didn't even eat one bite of it. It was horrible. And yeah. All right, not sure what happened, folks. I think I lost a connection or something. So let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me, and got what's going on. So yeah, my bad. I'm not sure. There's an internet issue or something going on. So I'm gonna keep going. We'll just we'll roll with it. I am going to turn on the camera. Okay, so thanks everybody. Okay, so sorry, Travis, that I ate into your question, but yeah, lo and behold, yeah, when you live life and you keep paying attention to stuff, it shows up in your story. All right. So I do see some other questions, but I want to get to our final session, and then I will stay on and answer questions as long as you guys have them. So don't worry about that. So it is 11:01. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. Let's come back at 11:21. Good luck, everybody. All right, everybody, just under 3 minutes left. Just under 3 minutes left. And don't forget, I want to know what your total word count is for the day. So, total word count. Don't be afraid to put that in the comments. Everybody, I'll be right back just in time for our last break. All right, everybody, we are there. So let me know in the comments, how's everything looking for you? What were your word counts for the day? Mine was 1,600. So let me know. And DCJ, Michael forgot to tell us what he is working on. Well, I'm working on Volume 5 of my Indie Author Confidential series. So I have a series that I'm publishing quarterly, and I publish a full-length book quarterly on the lessons that I'm learning on my journey as an author. It's called Indie Author Confidential. You can get it at authorlevelup.com/confidential. And I basically talk about the lessons that I've learned. And so I'm in quarter 2 now. And so I'm almost done with this book. So it'll release probably sometime later this month. So I'm kind of under the gun because I'm doing it every quarter. And I kind of need to publish it by the end of this month in order to meet my deadline for quarter 2. So that's what I'm working on. And that reminds me, before I forget, if in case anyone's interested in picking that up, or interested in picking up any of my other writing books, I only do this for my Power Hour folks. So if you are interested in checking out any of my writing books, from buying them from me directly, I offer a code for 15% off. So just go to authorlevelup.com/books. Use the code Power Hour. You can get 15% off any of the writing books in my catalog. So just my gift to you guys. I don't advertise this anywhere else, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So just want to make sure that you guys know about that. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, the words are coming in. So, all right, everyone's doing fantastic here. Okay, DCJ. So we got to talk about this. 23 disastrous words. It's okay. That's the thing about this is no one's going to come to your house and shoot you because, you wrote 23 words. You'll be okay. Just keep at it, and the faucet will eventually start pouring water, if you know what I mean. So I know I had my share of bad days. I had a lot of 0 word count days this week, and just pick yourself back up and keep going. All right, Surfskate Adventures, thanks for your vids. They really helped when I had to do everything and publish with CreateSpace. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And congratulations on publishing your books. So, okay, we got some questions coming in here. Ulkesh, my stories always end up as short story length, circa 3,500 to 5,500 words. Any advice for making an idea into novel length? Yeah, Ulkesh, this is an interesting question. I'm a big believer in that your story should be as long as it needs to be. If what you end up writing is a short story, then, to me, I think it's a short story. There are some short stories that you can turn into novels. I know that a lot of people have done that. I know I have a series that it started off as a short story, but then it became a novel, became a 3-book series, my Android X series. So it's definitely possible, but I wouldn't force it. If you feel like you're padding the story and to turn it into a novel, I don't know that will work. That's just my opinion. I'm an opinion of one guy. You can tell me I'm full of beans, and that's fine. But if that's what you're writing and that's where you end up, I think that's where you end up, and just keep writing, and maybe that novel idea will come to you, and you'll know it when you feel it. I know that's it's kind of silly advice maybe, but don't force it, because if you force it, then the readers will know, and it just won't feel right to them. So, as far as practical advice, that would be the practical advice I'd give you. Don't stretch it out if you don't have to. But I will say that, with my novels, every time I write a novel, I'm always between 40 and 50,000 words. And it's almost like magic. Sometimes I fall a little bit below that. Sometimes I go a little bit above that, and it just kind of is what it is. I know a lot of writers, their novels are 60 to 80,000 words, and that's what works for them. So just do what works for you. All right. Hopefully that gives you some sort of advice. Okay. Reeves Corner, not sure how to pronounce that. I just bought Scrivener after 2 chapters of writing. What's the best way to incorporate my novel into Scrivener? Awesome. Yeah, here's what I would do. And this is whether you use it for Windows or Mac. I would use the import and split feature. So I'm assuming you have a Word doc that you were writing in before. So what I would do is just use the import and split feature. What that'll do is it'll bring your Word doc in and it'll split it up. That's assuming that you've got page breaks in your Word doc. With just 2 chapters, it's not really a big deal if you just drag them in. You just drag your Word doc into Scrivener and then just separate everything that way. I think it's Option K on the Mac will split your chapter wherever your cursor point is. It's really easy. It'd be one thing if you had a 40 chapter novel. I was working with someone that had like 40 chapters. You definitely want to use import and split if you've got a Word doc there. But if you've got something little like that, just the big thing with Scrivener is just make sure that you set your tabs. Like if you have tabs in your Microsoft Word doc, be careful there. That's where you want to make sure when you what I would do if you were using tabs, don't use tabs anymore. just erase them from your muscle memory. Copy the text in Microsoft Word, and then when you go to Scrivener, I think it's like a special copy and paste. I know the name of it, I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But basically, what it'll do is it'll paste it, but it will remove formatting. Just make sure you do that. I was working with someone last week on that, and that was the issue they were having. So there's lots of ways to do it. If you have any questions or if you're struggling with it, just email me, michael@authorlevelup.com, and I can help you. So, all right. Edwin says, it would be great to have this writing power hour at least twice in the month. I love this. 328 words, trying to hit 500 in the last round. Pray emoji. Nice work, Edwin. Yeah, I would love to do this twice a month, and I might do this twice a month at some point. Right now, I'm just kind of I'm just trying to survive. so yeah. So at some point, I'm gonna do more live streams. I just have to find the time. So all right. So more stuff coming in here. Let's see. And don't forget, everybody, happy to answer any questions that you have. So just make sure you put the word question on there. Let's see. Sometimes with these comments, I'm using an app called Ecamm, and I noticed that if I don't remove the comments, then yeah, it's kind of awkward. All right, Edwin. Okay, you hit 853 words total. Fantastic. All right, no home visit for a low word count. All right. yeah, exactly. No home visit. No one from the CIA is going to show up at your doorstep because you wrote 100 words today. Or insert the name of whatever intelligence agency exists in your country. All right. Yeah, Jocelyn says you definitely have to let stories be what they are. It's so true. It's funny. Readers can smell it when you do something artificial. They just can. I've learned that the hard way. All right, so S. Rose, my debut novel in a series is long, about 120,000 words estimated, but I always overwrite, so I don't know the final number. Do you think maybe releasing the first 10 chapters for free would be a good idea, 40K? Michael Laron's opinion only, probably not. I think it depends on what your genre is. Will you let me know what your genre is? If your debut novel series is long, that is what it is. What you could consider doing is what some people. Okay, I'll tell you what people used to do back in the day. Back in the day, if you had a super long novel like that, what people would do is they would serialize it. So they would release the first 10,000 or maybe 20,000 words as like an episode 1, and then that would be free or like 99 cents. And then if people like that, there would be like a call to action in the back of the book that would take you to the full book or the rest of the book. I don't know that really ever worked. I know Johnny, Sean, and Dave at Sterling and Stone did that. I serialized the first series I wrote. I had a little bit of success with it, but not that much. And it seems like serials are starting to come back with Kindle Vella. I'm not really crazy about Kindle Vella. That's something you can try, but it would be one of those things where I would try it and then be ready to pivot if it doesn't work. I think you're probably just better off releasing the novel, and just make sure you price it accordingly. Okay, let's see if S. Rose put the genre in there. Okay, just put the genre in. I want to know what your genre is, because my question is the 120,000 words customary for your genre? Because if it is, I'm a big fan of getting paid for your work, and I'm also a big fan of sampling and loss leading, but 40,000 words, that's a lot of words to give away for your book. Let's see, but that's just me. Let's see. Okay, so Travis, my first book's launch date is July 1st. I'm getting imposter syndrome. Have you ever experienced this? July 1st, that's coming up here. We got to... Okay, I had to do the cheesy sound effect. Okay, imposter syndrome. Yes, I have experienced imposter syndrome. I think everyone experiences imposter syndrome, and it's perfectly normal. If you don't feel imposter syndrome, I suggest that maybe, I don't know. I think that the reason authors feel this way is because we're kind of doing things that, like, the very act of writing a book makes you different than most people. And I don't say that in like a elitist way, but I just think authors, their brains are wired a certain way. And we're not taught to think that way typically in society. So, I don't know about you, but, where I come from, writing books is not really normal. And so you always carry this like, okay, well, I'm doing something that everyone else I know is either playing golf or watching sports or doing all sorts of other things that have nothing to do with writing books. And so you always, I don't know, I always felt like I'm just a little bit different in that, not in a bad way, but just where do I belong? Where do I fit? And so I think that that's part of it. And then I think the imposter syndrome, where that comes from, is you're seeing all these other people who have brains that are wired like you, who are executing on a super high level. And here you are writing words that you don't think are going to cut the mustard, to use a cliche. And so you want what they're doing right away. And I think that's normal, but it's easy to forget that what those other authors are doing, they've spent a lot more time at it. And you don't see that time reflected in their books, that maybe it's not 100% precise way to say it, but I think Travis, long story short, it is normal. How I would get over it is just remember that imposter syndrome is a normal feeling, and it is not something that ever goes away, and you just have to learn to live with it. I was in a conference, my job, I was in a conference once, and I was in this conference room, and everybody was talking about this project, and everyone was piping in and talking about this and that. And I had this like feeling in the back of my head, like, why am I here? Like, everybody here is like smoking this project. I mean, they're just rolling it up and smoking it, and they know what they're talking about, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I get out of this meeting, and I was talking to a colleague, and I said, hey, this is just me, but I probably shouldn't have been in that room. I think everybody else was just killing this project. And my colleague was like, no, nobody else knew what they were doing either. So if you're feeling imposter syndrome, chances are there's a lot of other people who are feeling it too. So I wrote a book called The Indie Author Bestiary, and I actually have a chapter on imposter syndrome there. I think imposter syndrome it's one of those things you can easily learn to live with and just get over it. Just dare to be bad, as Dean Wesley Smith says. Like, even if you feel like an imposter, just do it anyway. Sometimes you'll be surprised at what happens. In fact, usually what happens 9 times out of 10 is exactly what you are not expecting. People are so afraid that they're going to be found out as imposters, and then they realize that what they were doing is authentic all along. So, super long answer to your question, but I hope it gave you something. Thank you, Alkesh. You do a fantastic service here by answering our questions. I'm always happy to do it. Okay, any thoughts on waiting to write a particular scene of a story? Should you just jump into writing a scene, or should you wait to plan or world build first? That depends on your personality. I don't think that there's, I'm not one of those people that says there's a right or wrong way to do anything. I think you should just do it and then figure out if it works for you. I think that there are 3 types of authors, what I found in my experience. They're the people who can outline, like their brains are wired that way. Like, they have to outline their books. And not outlining creates a source of stress for them. And that's perfectly valid. There are other authors like me who don't outline at all. I just make everything up as I go, and then I adjust as needed. And the very thought of outlining gives me stress, because then I'm thinking that if my readers know what's coming, then that's not that. I think that there's something to be said that if your readers don't know what's coming, like if you don't know what's coming, your readers probably won't know. And then I think there's the third category of people, they just don't care. They just kind of do whatever works best for them. So for me, I think, Christina, I would turn the question back to you on what do you like to do? Like, what makes you happy when you're doing it? Because I'm a big fan, and I asked you all, how are you feeling when you're writing your story? Because I'm a big believer that if you feel good when you're writing your story, that's going to translate to your readers. I think it was Billy Crystal. He said, if you look good, you feel good. I don't know if he was him that said that, but there's that quote, right? If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good while you're writing, you're gonna feel good. Your readers are gonna feel good. So, do you feel good when you're outlining, or does it just feel horrible, like feel like a slog? Do you feel good when you're not outlining and you just jump into it? Or is that stressful for you? Do what feels good. All right. Yeah, DCJ, thank you. The Scribner thing I was thinking of, and I don't know why I forgot about this, because I was literally just staring at it the other day. Yeah, paste and style matching. Yep, there you go. Okay, author level up. Okay, it was back to the conversation I was having with DCJ. It was just a disappointment because I was prepped and so excited for this day, and that's normal. It sometimes the best plans, like when I first started, I used to think, um, okay, I'm gonna go to a coffee shop on a Saturday. I'm gonna spend 3 hours there, and I'm gonna hammer out X section of this book, and then I get to the coffee shop and somebody start talking to me, or the words just aren't coming, and so then I would think, this day is a failure, and you're going to have those days, but I can also guarantee you, DCJ, that you're also going to have some really, really good days. The key is just to keep sitting down and doing it, and then I think what you'll find, if you at least keep trying, is that the law of averages is the thing. I mean, out of 10 days, for example, 2 of those days are going to be horrible. You're not going to get any words in. You're probably going to feel like you feel now. Another 2 of those days are going to be amazing word days where you're just gonna knock it out of the park, and then everything else is going to be kind of average, and you'll find out what your average is, and you'll get used to it. So if you keep trying, you'll eventually break through that block. Okay, it's urban fantasy, specifically lit RPG. Okay, so for S-Rose, we were talking about releasing that 120K word. I would see what other people in your genre are doing. If other people in your genre are doing that and having some success, give it a shot. I'm just not that into lit. I'm into urban fantasy, but not. I just don't know very much about lit RPG. There's different rules there. Ask some other lit RPG authors. I especially if it's your first book, you kind of want to make sure that you do the best you can to get it off on the right foot. So I would try to do what other authors in the genre are doing. If they're doing that to some degree, I would try it. If they're not, I would try to figure out what they're doing and do that. Just to give yourself the best chance, especially if you're going to be in Kindle Unlimited. All right. Okay, so I got ahead of myself here. Most of the other lit RPG books I read were about 100K on average that are similar to mine. So, you're not that far off. 20,000 words, that's really not that far off. I mean, if you had said that every other book in your genre was 40,000 words or 50, then I'd be like, okay, maybe there's something you need to do there. But I think you're in the pocket in terms of length. You're not that far off. So, interesting. Certainly in the next Power Hour, let me know how that goes for you. I'm very curious. All right. Okay, Tiev, oh, a regular here. Not too late. Hello, everyone. If anyone's interested in being part of a writing group, I have a Discord server set up if anyone's interested. Yes, Tiev, do me a favor. Put that link in the comments so that everyone can check it out. And also, Tiev, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, share it with me on Twitter. Or email me at michael@authorlevelup.com. I'll share it on my blog post so that more people in the community can check it out. Yeah, thanks for setting that up. All right, let's see here. Okay, another question from Edwin. Michael, I wanted to thank you. I asked for your advice a couple months ago, and it really helped me publish my book. Oh, well, hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Another question. Based on your author career, do you write the best ideas you have, or do you write what readers want to read right to market? I write what I want. Better yet, I write whatever the hell I want. Sometimes people will buy it. Other times they won't, That said, have I written some books that kind of find that sweet spot? I think so. My book, Be a Writing Machine, is one of my most popular books. That was lightning in a bottle, and it just happened. It was the book I needed to write, and it was also the book people wanted to buy. My last Dragonlord series was kind of the same way. But I've written some series that, I really believed in that flopped. And I knew they were going to flop from the moment I started writing them. And I think most authors would tell you never to do that. Me, I want to have a career, right? Like for me, the reason I write is because I enjoy it. Writing is something I can escape into. It's a place where I'm happy, and it's something that gives me meaning. being able to do this stuff with you all, being able to sit down and write books that impact and influence people's lives. Like, I love that, And so for me, I like that feeling, and I want to keep that feeling going. The moment that I start trying to write books based on what other people expect of me, then there's a chance that it won't be fun anymore. It's like it just becomes a job. And it's like, well, I already got a job. Why do I want to trade that job for another job? Like I want writing to be fun, and I say that all the time, and you probably drink every time I say it. It's true. I think it should be fun. And so sometimes that means that I have to write a book that you guys might not be interested in. And that's okay, because I write really fast and I'm pretty prolific. So if you think about your career and not just one book, I would hope that for many of you, if you keep writing, that you're going to have a career that's full of dozens of books, if not more than that. And so you can afford to write a few books that aren't going to really work. Now, my advice is contrarian. There's a lot of people that are not going to agree with me on this, but I just think at the end of the day, you're the one sitting in front of the keyboard. You're the one that has to live this life, and you're the one that has to make the decisions. And if you can't be happy with those decisions, if you feel like you have to write to market and you're not enjoying it, you may not be doing this for very long. And for me, I want to be around. I want to write as long as I'm alive. And so, yeah, that's my take on that. All right. Oh, but I should say, Edwin, that I have written to market. I have done it, but I only do it when it's a story that I enjoy and that I believe in. All right, and just happens to be that intersection. All right. Other questions here. Okay, Christina, in response to her question on plotting and pantsing, I think my problem is that I've internalized so much rhetoric about what a planner or pantser is supposed to do when there are so many different strains of each. Yeah, it's true. I mean, our community, for better or worse, we're opinionated people as writers. We have to be. That is an occupational hazard. We are opinionated people because if we didn't have opinions, we wouldn't write books, right? But I think that one thing I love about our community is that more so than in the past 6 or 7 years, I think more people are starting to come around to this. Well, we shouldn't be prescriptive about what we tell people to do. Here's what worked for me. Here's what might work for you, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it. So yeah, there's a lot of language out there, a lot of people out there that are very opinionated and strong about how they express their opinions. But at the end of the day, I think that you have to do what works for you, and in a way, you have to learn how to retrain your brain. Because remember, I think the other part of this is that it's not so much what other people are telling you to do, it's also what other people are doing. And other people may be having success at that. But you doing what other people are doing that brings them success might bring you pain, And so when you have that pain, you think to yourself, why? Well, if I've got this pain, what's wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with you. You are not the problem. It's you have to find what works best for you. The problem is the process because it's not working for you. So never think that you are the problem with your writing. The problem is never you. The problem is everything else. You just have to learn how to navigate. And a lot of that is, to me, that is the biggest challenge of being a writer. You can learn how to write a book. I can teach you how to do that. I mean, you can sit down and learn how to write a book. I can teach you how to do time management. The challenge is getting your mind correct. You get your mind correct, everything else follows. All right, Romil Patel, I'm stuck in the climax. Please help. Okay. The climax, I hope, is fun to write. If it's not fun, that's okay too. There's parts of every novel that aren't always fun. What I would tell you is keep sitting down and writing your climax, even if you're writing 100 words a day, 200 words a day. Even if you don't feel like writing that day, do whatever you can to continue writing. And I think what you'll find, it's almost like a traffic jam, like being stuck in some certain parts of the novel. It's like a traffic jam. Like you ever been in a traffic jam, like when you're coming home from work and you're driving and you just hit this wall of traffic, and you don't know why there's a traffic jam. Like there's no accident. There's no police cars up in front. There's no reason this traffic jam should exist. And then all of a sudden, just as quickly as you got through it, the traffic jam ends. You know, that's kind of what it's like. You just have to keep going. And eventually you'll be like, why was I ever stuck in this part? But it doesn't feel like that in the moment. So just don't let the emotions of the moment stop you from moving forward. All right. Christina, continuing on our conversation. I mean, I might be one would call a plantser, but I guess there's no hard and fast rule about how we're supposed to approach a project. Like, just do it. Yeah, I mean, for some people, maybe outlining, these are tools, right? Every writing technique is just a tool. Like, maybe it'll work in the next book, maybe it won't, but at least you know what it is. There may be times where you need to learn how to outline. Like, for example, when I was writing a series with my friend Justin Sloan, there's no way we could have written that book, Into the Dark. It's Modern Necromancy, the series we wrote. We had to outline that, even though I was at the same time writing my last Dragonlord series, not outlining at all. So, think about it like that. I say every project makes its own demands of you, and there are certain techniques you may need to use at a time. It sounds to me, Christina, that you're kind of that third category of writers I talked about. You just kind of do what you need to do, and just make the decision and learn from it. Okay, I love the questions. A lot of questions coming on. Hi, how do pantsers do research? In advance won't work. Doing while writing will stop your flow. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay, so here's how I do it. So there's two types. I coined this. There's two types of research. All right. The first type of research is what I like to call foundational research. So this is the research that you would need to do in order to start writing your series. So I'm actually writing a series right now. It's called The Chicago Rat Shifter. It takes place in Chicago. It's about a character that can shift into a rat. Well, I needed to do some research about Chicago to figure out where the character's going to live, where some of the landmarks are going to be in the story, all those sorts of things. Because I've been to Chicago a lot, but I never lived there. And then I also need to learn a lot about rat biology because I don't know very much about that. So before I can even start writing the series, I need to know those two things primarily and have a good understanding of them. But I only need to know enough to write that first chapter. After that, that's when the pantsing kicks in. So yes, I will stop. Like, for example, in the first chapter, if I need to know what neighborhood I'm in, or is what I'm writing accurate to the city of Chicago? Yeah, to your point, I am going to have to stop, and I'm going to have to go off, and I'm going to have to research that. But think about it like this. All right, what a lot of people do is they will spend days, weeks, maybe months researching their book, and they'll get entire notebooks and pages and pages and pages full of notes, only to not use very much of that research at all when they start writing their book. So my question I always tell people is, would you rather spend a ton of time researching a book where you don't use very much of that research, or would you rather spend your time researching stuff that you're actually going to use? So even though it stops your flow, it's actually more efficient. And I call that second type of research just-in-time research. It's research just in time for when you need it, and it's actually going to end up in your book. So, that's my take on it. But that's how, as a pantser, that's how I do my research. And it doesn't take me very long to do the foundational piece. Sometimes maybe a week. Yeah, Karen, I agree. It's always interesting to learn of the various methods by which folks choose to work. The greatest common factor is that we clearly all love to write. Absolutely. All right. Tieb says, I'm actually trying to post the link right now. Can't figure out how to post it. Okay, just tag me on Twitter or email it to me, Tieb. I just want to make sure I share it so people see it, because I know we've talked about this over the past few months here. Tips for a better ending, genre, crime, mystery. I read a lot of crime mystery, but I candidly don't have any advice for you. I'm sorry, Ramil. Trying to think of, I can't think of any authors off the top of my head that kind of are in my space that would do that. So What I would do, I mean, if it were me, I would just pick up a bunch of crime mystery books, and I'd just go to the end, see what they do. Don't even read the rest of the book. Just read the end and see what happens. Maybe that'll give you some insights. Okay. Yeah, Louisa, to the earlier point, I think so too. I really enjoy writing. It's not about making money or doing what other people want. All right. Okay, so perfect. Edwin, yeah, write whatever the hell I want. Nailed it. Hashtag. There we go. I might make a t-shirt with that on it. All right. Corey, hi, do you have any tips on marketing with self-publishing? I feel like your first book can be the greatest piece ever written, but if marketing fails, your book fails. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know, I have a book. It's called 150 Self-Publishing Questions, authorlevelup.com/150. And I do have some marketing advice there. Candidly, marketing, I tend to not take up the marketing lane because I just do so many things that are like weird that I don't know that will work for other people. But what I would say, I'll tell you what has worked for me that probably will work for a lot of people. Amazon ads, that's what's working for me right now. I've pretty much got my Amazon ads to the point where it's like a money machine. Like I make money on my Amazon ads every month, but it took a lot of time to get there. But it's pretty much automated. It just runs itself. So like Brian Cohen's Amazon ad school was a really smart investment. I've heard a lot of people have good success with Facebook ads. I also think what has worked well for me throughout my career has been email marketing. So growing my email list, and as a fiction writer, what I did, one thing that worked really well for me was I had because I have so many books, I put together one for my fantasy readers and then one for my sci-fi readers, and it's 3 books, so it's book ones in 3 of my series. And if you sign up for that at michaelaron.com, you can pick which one you get, but you get series starters for 3 books, and you can read those, and then whichever one you like, you can go off and buy it. That has worked really well. And then also having an autoresponder sequence. So when someone joins your list, first email they get is that free item, right? It's the first thing they get. And then over a period of like 6 or 7 weeks, I send them autoresponders, like automated emails that get them up to speed with who I am, what I write, and then links to my books. And I like to think of autoresponders as like they're like little employees that sell your books while you sleep. You know, and I do that with my writing too. I have autoresponders that I wrote 5 years ago that people who join my list tomorrow, they'll respond to them. It's as if I wrote them yesterday. But those things are effective. Other things that have been effective for me is in the back of my books. Just making sure that you have a very clear call to action in the back of your books that sends you have to make a choice, right? You either send them to your next book in the series or you send them to your list. You can do both, but you'll probably get better results if you do one or the other. But then, you know, those are very like markety things. Another thing that you may want to think about is just book covers. You know, it's really easy to get book covers wrong when you first start off. Because I think what a lot of people do is they think of book covers as works of art and not signaling. Book covers are just signaling to people. If you think about your book cover as a series of signals, you'll get that right. And then also, you know, your book description. It's honestly, there's no silver bullets with marketing. It's one of the things I found out. For most people, it's usually a slow burn. The more books you write, you learn with every book that you do, and you'll eventually get to where you want to be. A lot of people are really looking for that fast cash, and I think they're surprised when that doesn't happen. Some people do get lucky, but most people, it's not fast cash. You know, you don't get rich quick. It's you make a little bit with the first book, and then that drops off, and then you get another series, and then, you know, you make more there, and then over time you develop a good email list and you learn more about your audience and what they want. It is a really good question, though. Okay. Splash Wave Beach, you don't use Ulysses anymore. No, I do. I was actually using it today. I was writing. So I write nonfiction in Ulysses, and then I write fiction in Scrivener. But so I'll stop there. That's what I do. I actually do some other weird stuff, but that's going to confuse everybody. So I write Ulysses for nonfiction because I like Ulysses' universal library. I think that that's a really smart idea, and it just lends itself really well to nonfiction because I have a lot of nonfiction books. I just like Scrivener better for novels because it has tools that are going to be better, like the corkboard, linguistic focus, all those sorts of things that I use on a regular basis. So, but I would recommend both of them. If you write both fiction and nonfiction, then maybe that's what you could do. If you're writing just fiction, I would not use Ulysses, and I talked about that earlier in the show. All right. Hunter says, got to go eat and dress for work. Appreciate it. Romil asks, how frequent are these power hours? I do this every Saturday. First Saturday. No, I take that back. I do this the first Saturday of every month. First Saturday of every month. Edwin, your dreams might have came true there. So really, really good stuff, everybody. So I'll end with a couple comments. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to keep bringing them in. I'll stop when all the questions are done. But what's coming up on the channel here in the next couple weeks, I'll be back to regular videos. And like I said, things have been kind of crazy with me, and I've honestly been enjoying kind of a lot of this time that I've gotten back. And so we'll do that. And then the last half of this year is probably going to have a lot of books from me, honestly, because I've only published one book so far this year, but I've written like 5. So I kind of need to get stuff out the door. And I'm kind of thinking I might do another beast mode this summer. So if anyone's interested in that, you heard it here first. I might do it. It might only be like a 60-day beast mode, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna do it because my goal is I'm trying to get to I think 64 books this year, 64 total books, not 64 books written this year, but I'll get there. So, all right. So our next power hour, everybody. Let me check the calendar real quick because here in the United States we have the 4th of July, and I just want to make sure that this doesn't. The next date doesn't coincide with that. All right, so the next power hour, okay, yeah, it will. So the next power hour is not going to be the first Saturday of the month. It is going to be the second Saturday. I know that many of you are in the United States. I'm not gonna take up part of your Independence Day holiday, so it's going to be on the 10th. So I'll be sure to share that, and I'll probably send out an email newsletter to everybody as well. So July 10th will be the next power hour. And yeah, we'll have some more fun, and maybe I'll have another beast mode here by then. Romil, I'm having a hard time making 1 or 2 characters relatable. Any tips there to make them relatable to readers? Yeah, I actually have a video series on that, Romil. Check out authorlevelup.com/ oh gosh, God, what? I'm going to look it up right now. It was literally on the tip of my tongue. This is what happens when you make so much content. You forget what you did. But I do have a playlist for you. I'm going to get it for you real quick. Okay, it's called How to Write Engaging Main Characters. I'll do this, Ramil. I'm going to throw it in the comments for you. And then anyone else who wants to check it out. I think there's there might be like 8 or 9 videos in there, and they're actually fairly long. There's probably some really good stuff in there to help you with this. The answer is it's not very hard. You just have to be strategic and intentional about how you do it. All right. So, well, everybody, I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'm going to sign off. I love all the questions. Feel free to keep them coming in future power hours. I'll see you all on July 10th, and peace.